What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Tyler with Hooks Are Free. Hope you are having a great day, night, or whenever it is that you're watching this video. It is almost 9:30 p.m. on Saturday night, September 11th, 2021. I'm not going to go into to too much detail or a rant in talking about the fact that today is September 11th, but um, I do just want to, take a moment of silence and say thank you to all of those who have served our country. It's been an interesting last 20 years where we've seen a lot of unity come out of the terrorist attacks from 20 years ago, and then recently things have kind of evolved and gone the opposite way, and we're in kind of a peculiar place right now. But I think more than anything, today's a day to feel blessed and feel grateful for what we have and to live here in the United States, in a free country. And yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that. So I'm just going to give people a moment here to hop in and join the stream. What's up, Vince? How you doing tonight, man? Ron Holly in the building. What's up, Bassless chap? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Glad to see you guys in here. Hope you're having a good Saturday night. I do have one of my two packages that I ordered this past week came in today, and it is none other than my package from Discount Tackle. Hence why I'm wearing my hat right now. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Discount Tackle. Um, Vince and Ron, you guys have probably already shopped there before. In fact, I know Ron has, and I just want to shout them out real quick before I do this unboxing. So, if you guys are unfamiliar with Discount Tackle, it is an online retailer where you can buy fishing gear and fishing tackle um, from the best name brands in the industry. They've got a good selection and are pretty on top of getting new gear in, and they discount a lot of big name brands. So that said, they're still a small company, so not everything is going to be in stock at all times. However, if you're on top of it, if you tell them to notify you when certain products or colors come back in stock, you can really take advantage. So, um, I really make a point to buy some JDM baits like Evergreen and Kitech and a handful of others that you can find discounted at Discount Tackle, but not anywhere else 365 days out of the year. So they also will discount companies like Strike King and Z-Man and Berkeley and a bunch of others. So it is an awesome place to shop online. Of course, you're not going to be able to find everything that you want in every color that you want. So you do kind of have to cherry pick what it is that it's available. And like I said, pay attention to what comes in stock and when. And I'll show you guys a couple of things that just came in stock recently or that have been on my wish list per se, that I decided to pick up this month. So what's up, Matt? How you doing? I figure maybe we should just dive right into it. We're only 4 minutes in, but looks like Abe just jumped in as well. So we've got a lot of the regulars. I don't know if Justin will hop in tonight, but he fell asleep last night after hanging out for a little while, but left a comment on last night's video saying that he did in fact stay up long enough to see that uh, that I apologized for giving him a hard time on going ham on those new swim jigs from Evergreen, the Grass Ripper. And the reason I apologized was because I couldn't help myself. They came in stock on Discount Tackle already and are discounted. So I threw them into my order this month, literally like within hours of us talking about those baits last week. And to be honest, I think I was talking about how I think it's a slightly overpriced swim jig at to $8 or whatever they cost. And I kind of take that comment back because if you think about it, with like the jackhammer chatterbait, for example, it's a chatterbait. It's a swim jig with a blade on it, and it costs $16. And yet, it is totally worth it. I will back that up till the end of time or until the fish stop biting it, quite frankly. It has been my most productive lure by a long shot over the last 2 seasons. And I always have one tied on. I've probably got 20 or more of them um, in my chatterbait box. So can't help it. And if you think about it, a swim jig is really not all that different than a chatterbait. It's the same thing without a blade. And so it serves its own purpose and can certainly be more effective than chatterbait in certain situations. So a well-built swim jig could easily be worth $10, upwards of $15. And so while I might prefer to throw swim jigs that are in the $4 to $6 range, like I talked about last week, there are a handful that I really make a point to throw for different situations, kind of light wire, medium wire, heavier wire, and and I stick to those and I'm pretty happy most of the time. I just want them to run right. The grass ripper actually did grab my attention. So, Justin, I apologize, man. And I will show you guys in 1 second. Matt says, bro, you got to get one of those Depths High Sider Junior jointed big minnows. Tested it out today. Should have recorded it, sent it to you. But, bro, it's a killer bait, man. Made out of some material as the same material as the OG slide swimmer. Interesting. Um, Again, I'm not quite as into the high dollar JDM swim baits as you are, but I'll have to throw that onto my list of things to look into. Looks like Ron is joking around. Can I get the new Clash K9 rollover sidekick? Oh boy. Looks like Justin got the Megabass Boa today. Yep. Definitely a cool buzz bait. The Jamaica Boa is a large profile buzz bait, but is a good one nonetheless. Really like the design of it, how they put the weight on the shank of the hook. It does run true. It's got a nice squeak out of the package, and it's just a good buzz bait overall. Like I said, it's a little bit big, but not overly so. It's not giant or anything. So hope you like it, man. Oh, Matt says $30 on Ichiban for that depth bait. Okay, I'll check it out. All right, guys, let me show you what I picked up. Let's start with those grass rippers if I can rip into this package and find them. As I always do when doing an unboxing, I'll show you guys my invoice here, and this month's sticker kind of matches the shirt that I've got on. If I didn't like to collect these stickers and put them on tackle boxes and things like that, I would just throw it right on my chest right now, but I'm not going to do that. So, as has kind of been typical for me over the past 6 months or so, I spent $80 this month, $82 to be exact. If you spend $59 or more on discount tackle on a single order, you get free shipping. So I did include in the description of this video my affiliate link, just as a reminder to you guys, and I will drop it in the chat right now if you guys want to go ahead and bookmark that, copy paste it somewhere. If ever you're going to shop from Discount Tackle, just know that I do get a small percentage of the sales from people who I drive traffic to the website. So I would greatly appreciate that. They're the only company that I am affiliated with or make a point to represent at this point in time. So I do really like what they're about and how they're growing a company. They are still small, like I said, have had some growing pains in terms of keeping certain items in stock. Um, and sometimes, as Ron experienced, their customer service can be a little bit slow just because they're a small company, and they've got a few people wearing a lot of hats. So you got to forgive them every now and again for that. But otherwise, they're a fantastic company and well worth shopping with on a regular basis. Not for every single thing that you're going to get. As you guys notice, I do like to shop a few other places occasionally, like Tackle Warehouse, like the Hookup Tackle, the random purchase from Ichiban or a few other retailers. But I got 3 of the Evergreen grass rippers this month, and these guys were $6.39. So I don't know if these retail for $7.99 or for $6.99. But either way, $6.39 is a reasonable price to me, and I decided to get these in all in 3/8 ounce. And this guy is Brett's Bluegill. I'll just go ahead and open these up. The packaging reminds me a ton of the Jackhammer Chatterbait. I'll just show you right now. Here's one of the Brett's Bluegill Jackhammers. Here's one of the Brett's Bluegill Grass Rippers. So same size, stapling, very similar design on the packaging in terms of explaining the features and benefits of the bait. So let me actually read what it says on the back before I open this puppy up. It says the Grass Ripper Swim Jig is loaded with features to help you draw out big fish from heavy cover. Custom designed head shape and vertical line tie for the ultimate swimming action. Pattern specific color weed guards, heavy duty Gamakatsu hook, double wire trailer keeper, and ultra soft silicone rubber skirt. Okay. So actually, I will just open one of these and leave the other 2 unopened in case I might want to do some photographing for Instagram. There's really no need for me to pull them all out of the package to show you guys right now. But, okay, so $6.99 is what they retail for. So I guess they're just 10% off on Discount Tackle, which, is certainly better than nothing. But you save 61 cents by buying it from Discount Tackle. So here we go. Definitely has an interesting head shape that is conical and definitely has the weight distributed so this thing is going to run straight. Not a totally flat bottom. It is flat down here, but it's angled so that this thing is literally going to cut straight through grass. It's got a pretty heavy duty weed guard on there. Definitely longer than I typically like. So I will cut that down by, 1/8 of an inch or so. My rule of thumb is that when this weed guard is pressed down, I really want it to just go to the barb of the hook, not the bend of the hook. So I will line that up and probably cut it off right here or so that when it goes down, it's right at that barb. But as you can see, the skirt does not need to be trimmed at all straight out of the package, just like you'd get from the Jackhammer. These are hand-tied skirts. I don't believe they're wire-tied, but that said, I still rarely have issues with the Jackhammer skirts coming undone. And when I do, I seem to have no issue just retying them myself. As you can see here, it looks like it's got that exact same hook as the Jackhammer, kind of that medium wire Gamakatsu flipping hook with that double wire bait keeper. A little bit of extra lead on the shank up there as well. So really cool paint job on the head, also matching skirt. Like they said, these weed guards match the color of the jigs. So you get black on the black and blue, you get green pumpkin on this uh, Brett's bluegill color, which is just like a green pumpkin orange type of color. I guess it's more of like a watermelon candy orange if you look at it. Got a little bit of green and purple flake in there, and more of a lighter green than green pumpkin. And then I also did get one in the fire craw color. So, in the springtime, and not just the spring, but all throughout the year when the water is dirty, red baits can be killer. I did just catch a couple fish on the demon colored, no, not demon, the red craw colored Rapala DT4 um, this past week, and really like throwing red baits, not just in the spring. So got those three grass rippers. Pretty pumped about those. Very interesting head shape and style. So I will definitely put those to work immediately. And honestly, I have not been that picky when it comes to swim jigs. Like I said, I really like that Six Sense Divine swim jig as kind of my do everything swim jig. However, I think this guy is going to jump to the top of the list for me, given the hook that's in it and the shape of that head. So we will see. I will report back once I have a chance to really throw it and get some time under my belt using it. What's up, Riley? How you doing? Appreciate you very much. Yeah, my daughter is definitely feeling better. She went to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. Obviously, they were off Monday, and she doesn't have preschool on Friday. So she was back in school and is pretty much completely back to normal. So life is much better. She's sleeping through the night again, which for a few nights felt like that might never happen. I was going upstairs every 5 to 15 minutes and getting next to no sleep a week ago. So yeah, feels like a long time ago that that was happening, but also feels awesome that that is no longer the case. Ron says you sure can save some money, discount tackle. No doubt about it. Yeah, Justin, I was honestly going to get all of these in the quarter ounce because, as I mentioned last week, I do throw lighter swim jigs pretty frequently when I'm fishing in ponds. I like to fish them up high in the water column like I would a spinner bait where I can see the bait the entire time. But for me, a 3/8 ounce is kind of my do everything size where I can fish it higher and faster if and when I need to, but I don't need to worry about it sinking too fast like a half or a 5/8 ounce would. So 3/8 I think is a good place to start for me. But I was initially I had all of them in a quarter ounce to start out with. So I totally hear you. Um, but typically when I'm throwing a quarter ounce, I do prefer a lighter wire hook. And when I'm throwing a 3/8 or heavier, and allowing it to get down just a little bit deeper, I do prefer a slightly heavier hook on it. So Ron says, have you ever seen a bait package that says probably won't catch fish, has an okay hook, painted with colors we had sitting around? No, I don't think I've seen that. And they do all sound like they would kill, but these are features that you can't deny, right? A gamakatsu hook and a double wire bait keeper are things that you can't really lie about. Of course, when they're talking about, you know, color matching weed guards and a vertical line tie and, premium painted heads. Yeah, you're right. That's all kind of fluff. And when all is said and done, not that big of a deal. If you are fishing these things around rocks, the paint is going to chip off. You guys have seen that I have a bunch of jackhammers that I fish around riprap banks that I have just wore the paint off completely. And, that's bound to happen if you're using lead headed jigs. So Matt says one jig I would definitely recommend is the Depths Matsuraba jig. They're $10, but I'm not just saying it to say this. That jig does not get snagged, man. I've ran it right through limbs and stumps. Never gotten snagged yet. Interesting. Um, Matsuraba. Okay. Dude, you're going to need to hit me up after this stream. Let me know those two baits. The Matsuraba jig from Depths and that Depths swim bait you were talking about, or wake bait, minnow you were mentioning. Okay. Next up, I guess we go to soft plastics. So nothing special here. This surprisingly is a bait that I don't already have in my arsenal. And you guys could give me as much crap as you want for it. But guys, this is the Power Bait Chigger Craw in the 3-inch. I know that this is a staple bait for a lot of bass fishermen. And I throw a number of baits in Power Bait. You guys know that. Are they over there? These are my drop shot baits. These are my miscellaneous baits. And as you guys can see, I've got, probably 10 to 15 packs of Power Bait and Max Scent sitting in here. That smells good. But to be honest with you, the Chigger Craw is one that I haven't thrown. And it's a very simple jig trailer. The 3-inch specifically does not need to be trimmed down. It has this smaller profile. The 4-inch is a bigger bait that might be used for flipping or on a Texas rig a little bit more frequently, maybe even on a swim jig, something like that. But the 3-inch is essentially a chunk or a downsized bait meant to be thrown as a jig trailer. You could also throw this thing on a Ned head if you wanted to, but really, I plan to use this on finesse jigs and when I want just a little bit more subtle of a presentation. This thing is not going to flap a lot. It's not going to displace a ton of water, but it is going to have that Power Bait scent and a good waving action to it. And of course, I've heard great things about the Chigger Craw for years. Not just the standard 3 and 4-inch Chigger Craw, but the Crazy Legs Chigger Craw. And it's been such a popular bait in the industry that they are now coming out with it in the Max Scent version this year. They just released that at ICAST. They're not available yet and probably won't be for another few months at least. And now my hands smell. Riley says, also off topic yesterday, but 2 years of Hooksets or free streams. First video I ever watched was a 1-minute fish catch. So if you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, dang, 2 years ago you started watching me, huh? That is pretty wild to think about, Riley. I appreciate you, paying attention to that. I don't know if you were notified of that by YouTube or if somehow you know of that date. But yeah, I used to post those 1-minute fish catch videos just because I really do like the idea of cast to catch videos as opposed to just kind of compilations of guys setting the hook. Fast forward to them landing the fish, showing it off. I wanted to be able to show people kind of how I was setting up in certain positions, how I was making a cast, working the bait, and then catching the fish. However, as I've mentioned before, the unfortunate reality is when posting those videos on Instagram and or YouTube, eventually, even though I only have 2,900 subscribers here and 15,000 followers on Instagram, I've got a few hundred people here that are local to Colorado and are familiar with my fishing holes. and they're not even friends of mine. These are just people who either stumble into my information or are kind of looking around, and they happen to notice that I'm from Colorado, and they start asking me about where I'm fishing. They make blatant comments about recognizing where I am. And sadly, I've had a number of spots get burned. And so I've had to kind of stop posting those videos for that reason. Because to be honest with you, being here in the Denver metro area, there are not a million places to fish. And I don't fish giant lakes. I don't fish on a boat. So my spots get exposed pretty easily. And that can be frustrating when all of a sudden baits that I've been fishing at specific locations become ineffective, and the fish at those locations become much more pressured, and I have to switch up entirely in terms of what I'm doing or where I'm fishing. And so, yeah, that's too bad. Will Perriman, what's up, dude? 2 years does fly by. You're absolutely right. So, guys, I talked about this bait last night because it is currently in the giveaway that I've got running right now, which if you didn't enter already, you can go to the video, last night's live stream, and just like that video and leave a comment, and I'll enter you here via YouTube. I also posted the giveaway on Instagram a few days ago, but it's only running until tomorrow night. So in it are 2 frogs from Jackal, one's the Gavacho, one's the Cara, and then 2 packs of Z-Man soft plastics, the Helicross, and the Turbo Fatties. And then I'm also including 2 of my hand-tied jigs. One is more of a swim jig, if that's what you want to call it. It's really just a round ball jig with a white and chartreuse square cut rubber skirt. This is that Kitech tungsten round ball jig with a 3/0 hook. And this guy is a finesse jig using the Z-Man Power Shrooms weedless jig head. It's in a 1/5 ounce. It's got a 2/0 hook on it. I've got some flat cut green pumpkin rubber on there, and a little bit of blue craw colored silicone, and some olive green marabou in there. So wicked finesse jig there. And yeah, those 6 items are up for grabs right now and until tomorrow night. So if you want to enter the giveaway, go to last night's video and or onto Instagram. But this exact bait is one that I decided to give away, and I only had 1 pack of them, so I decided to kind of backfill that and have this in my arsenal. This is the Helicross, brand new, just released at iCast a couple months ago. As I've mentioned before, this reminds me of like a hybrid between the Strike King Rage Craw and the Netbait Paca Craw in terms of profile and action. So it's got these kickers that that are not quite as spread apart as the Rage Craw, but they do have the flange for a little bit of extra kicking action. And then they've got a relatively wide body like the Rage Craw does. And then I really like the fact that it's got this line underneath for easy rigging, and a hook slot on top so that you don't have to expose the hook. So really like the design of this bait, and at 3.75 inches long, I think it's going to be super versatile, whether you want to fish it by itself or as a trailer on kind of whatever you want. I mentioned last night, but I can pretty quickly think of 10 different ways to fish this thing, and I will probably try most of them. So you could fish this thing weightless and buzz it on top like you would a buzzing toad. You can throw it on a Texas rig, weighted. You could drop shot this thing. You could throw it on a wobble head. You could throw this on the back of a swim jig or a chatterbait. You could throw this thing on a football jig or a flipping jig. You could punch with it. There's literally just a million different ways that you could use it. I also got one other pack of these, and this is in the fire craw color. However, seeing these in person, it does not look very fire craw-ish to me. Okay. Um, if you look at this thing, it reminds me a little bit more of like the Delta red color that Rage Tail has out. It's more red than it is orange. And I thought it would be a little bit more of a perfect match with the Jackhammer or with the Grass Ripper, um, in being like a red back and an orange belly. And this is more, technically it's red and orange, but there's almost too much flake in it, in my opinion. And now I do reserve the right to change my opinion on this once the light changes, but I almost think there's too much silver and gold flake in this thing. So we will see. But I'll tell you what, Discount Tackle has this color in stock and nowhere else does. Tackle Warehouse doesn't have the Firecraw Helicross, at least just yet. So when I saw these on Discount Tackle, I felt kind of obligated to get them and to throw it on the Grass Ripper and or the Jack Hammer. So picked up a pack of those, and let's keep moving. Those are the soft plastics. Then Z-Man. Sorry I'm behind on comments, guys. I appreciate you guys chitting and chatting. Matt says, that's why when I start my channel up and show my fishing videos or cast to catch videos, I'm blurring the background because New Jersey is filled with spot burners. Yeah, it's just that's kind of a turnoff too, dude. No one loves watching someone who's blatantly trying to hide where they're fishing. That's more distracting, from the video itself. You're going to find people who are turned off of watching fishing content if they see that a background is blurred. At least that's the case with me. Thank you, Will. Yeah, it is a pretty cool hybrid jig. Doesn't it remind you a little bit of the Beast Coast Hybrid Hustler? It's got that mushroom style jig head, so you could throw a tiny little buoyant soft plastic on it and fish it like the Ned rig, or you could fish it along the bottom or slightly off and jig it like you would a hair jig, something like that. So I'm pretty excited about the marabou on these hybrid jigs with the combination of rubber and silicone as well. And I agree, it will still pair up well with the Firecraw. I just wish the colors were spot on. That's just me being picky. We will have to see. Okay, guys, next up is another new product from Z-Man, just in stock at Discount Tackle. I don't know if these are in stock elsewhere or not, but these are the new Z-Man football Ned heads. Okay, so interesting. These are not weedless, but as you guys know, football heads are going to come through cover just a little bit better than a mushroom style jig head would. So, as we see with a bunch of other companies, we see Z-Man kind of changing the definition of the Ned rig a little bit with the addition of this hook. So, yeah, football shape head on a Ned rig head. In my opinion, a Ned rig is a mushroom style jig head with a do nothing soft plastic. But as we've learned over the last handful of years, Ned rig baits have really evolved to high action baits, much more than just do nothing stick baits, whether they float or not. And so with that comes the evolution of different style hooks. Not only have we seen bigger hooks and heavier heads, but we've also seen the opposite. And now we're seeing different shaped heads, like this football Ned's head. I did get these in the not the 1/8, but the 3/16 size. So they sell these in a 1/8, a 3/16, and a 1/4. Sorry that it's not focusing for you. So they don't carry these in typical Ned rig sizes where you could get this in a 1/16, a 1/10. They just have 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4. And I find that the 3/16 should do just fine in getting down to the bottom, whereas 1/8 might be a little bit light for that. But 1/4 might end up being a little bit heavy, and cause that bait to hang up just a little bit more. So decided to pick up one pack of those, see what they're about, give them a try, see how the hookup ratio is, and I will keep you guys posted on that. So those guys are a little bit more expensive than a traditional Ned head, I believe. They they were $5.21 for a pack of 3. So that's the main reason that I only got one pack of them, is that they're not a great deal, you know. Ned heads, I think you pay right around $1 per 4, and these are close to $2 per. So just not quite worth it in my opinion. Now, this is kind of a random purchase, but I talked about this bait recently, and this is the Berkeley Bullet Pop, um, which, in my opinion, is a good popper. They make it in 3 different sizes, and those are 60, 70, and 80. And I've got a couple in the 80, and I recently got one in the 70 size from Cabela's, and immediately knew that I liked it better than the 80 size. The 80 is a rather large popper. So I'll show you guys one more time. I think I showed you guys last week, but I moved all my poppers over to a bigger 3700 size box because it was overflowing in my 3600 box. But here is the 80 size. I really do like the design and the shape of this popper. It's got a tapered back to it and a relatively flat bottom. So this thing does sit a little bit more horizontal in the water, and it's got a good cupped face. It can be walked well, but I'm still going to fish this more like a traditional pop R and chug it. And as you can hear, it's got more of a one knocker rattle to it. I like that. But here is the 70 size. Originally, I liked the 80 size because it is heavier and more castable. These have strange weights to them. So I want to say the 80 size is like a 3-inch, well, 3 and a little bit, because 3 inches would be 75 millimeters, but it weighs a ½ ounce. And this 70 size, is 2 3/4 inches, and it weighs 2/5 of an ounce, 11 grams. So that puts you just over 3/8 of an ounce. And in my opinion, after having fished poppers quite a bit this summer and had a lot of success on them, I've found that I can fish a 1/4 ounce popper no problem, and a 3/8 is probably my preferred size. So, yeah, I'm going to start fishing this guy quite a bit more. So I picked this guy up in the bone color, Bullet Pop 70. And a few things that I like about it are One, that it's got good action, that really deep cupped face, um, that's at a little bit of an angle, which a lot of anglers prefer. They will shave that bottom lip of like a traditional Rebel Pop R to get a little bit better action out of it. But these baits come with Berkeley Fusion 19 treble hooks on them straight out of the package. So you get a much better deal there, and these things are super affordable. Plus, you get a discount when buying them from Discount Tackle. So this guy cost me $5.73, and in my opinion, is really hard to beat. So, you know, just kind of stumbled back across that while shopping at Discount Tackle and decided to add one more of the Bullet Pop 70s to my arsenal. That's fair, Matt. It's not going to be a turnoff for everybody to watch videos with blurred backgrounds, but um, it depends. If you know your audience and your audience knows you and they just want to watch how you're working a bait, um, or they just want to watch you fish, then so be it. But I don't think you're going to attract a lot of new people um, with a blurred background. And that, again, is just my opinion. So no big deal, man. Justin, I think it is just you, but Berkeley has gotten a little bit of a reputation this year for taking some inspiration from other companies. I wouldn't go so far as to say they steal every popular bait idea. I think that's kind of over the top to say. Um, Berkeley kind of has their own take on a lot of different baits, and they've paid attention to what works well in the industry, what is popular, and they're making a point to not miss a lot of opportunities. So, sure, you could make the point to say that they have copied or come out with their own version of a lot of baits that were kind of one of a kind prior to Berkeley jumping on that. But if patents are not involved, there's absolutely no reason that a company like Berkeley should not go out of their way to take advantage of an opportunity in the market. And you can't say that you wouldn't do the same thing if you were in their position and had the funds and the smart people, the designers, um, the production capabilities to do so and be able to produce baits at a better price than most of these other manufacturers as well. So Will says I use a lot of 3/16 ounce weights and shaky heads. Yeah, I do too, man. I find that 1/8 is a little bit light and 1/4 is a little bit heavy. So if I'm fishing from the bank or in shallow water, 3/16 is, in my opinion, kind of a go-to. If I'm drop shotting, I'll usually go to like a 1/8 first, and then step up to a 3/16. But yeah, I really love 3/16 with a lot of different stuff. So Ron, you're absolutely right. Everybody knocks each other off all the time. It's part of the industry, um, and it doesn't really do any of us any good to keep talking about how one company has less credibility because they're making their own version of it. It's one thing to come out with a bait that is an exact replica. It's another thing to come out with your own version of the same bait. Okay. Almost nobody is taking a mold from an existing bait and creating the exact same thing and putting their name on it. That doesn't really happen. The Berkeley Chapo is a different bait than the Whopper Plopper. So anyway, we don't need to go down that road um, too much. And how many different versions of a popper are on the market? and how many actually look like this with a pointed back. Then again, almost every popper on the market looks the same. You know, even the Rio Rico is identical. I don't know which one came first, but the Rio Rico and the Don Iovino Splash It and the Yellow Magic Magnum Popper are all the same blank. It's just the Rio Rico has slightly different balls on the inside. If you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 chambers. Inside the middle of the bait, there are 3 chambers. In the Rio Rico, there are only 2 in the middle of the bait that have weights or rattles in them. So it creates this sound. However, the Don Iovino Splash It, which is this guy, has like steel balls instead of brass in those 2 chambers, and then they've got 2 smaller steel balls in the middle one. And guess what? The Yellow Magic is exactly the same internally as the Don Iovino Splash It. So, dude, I mean, whatever. We could talk about that kind of thing all day long. A lot of it comes down to personal preference, right? Will, baits are like country songs. Same 5 chords in 1,000 songs. And the same lyrics, dude. We could talk about drinking beer and driving trucks and catching fish. You know what? So I totally agree, guys. All right, let's get into a couple of cool baits here. You guys have seen me open. Here's another popper. Speaking of, you guys have seen me open this bait a handful of times this past year, and I'm a fan of it. I lost this guy in the all black color, you know, while night fishing, a month and a half ago on the full moon back in July, and was disappointed to have lost it for sure. I know that Will Perriman is a big full moon nighttime fisherman, so shout out Will Perriman and night fishing. But this is the dual hardcore popper. It is a 70 size popper. It is 2 3/4 inches and weighs 3/8 of an ounce. So almost exactly the same size and weight as that Berkeley Bullet Pop in the 70. You know, as you can see, it's got a slightly more slender body profile to it. And what makes this bait unique, as you guys already know, is that it has a weight transfer system in it. So do you hear that snap down? So when you cast this thing, that magnetic weight transfer is going, that ball's going to shift to the back, and this bait is going to cast further than a traditional 70 size bait, traditional 3/8 ounce bait. And then as you start to work the bait, that magnet will roll to the front of the bait and connect up front. Okay. And so then this thing is perfectly balanced after that. And it has kind of a springy sound to it if you listen to this. Definitely different than any other popper that I own. And I've talked about dual hardcore a fair amount over the last year. This is another company that Discount Tackle carries a lot of their stuff and does discount it pretty well. Um, this is a Japanese lure manufacturer that is in the same family of companies as Yozuri, and they make high quality stuff and at a reasonable price point to boot. So you get good quality hardware on these things. You get that magnetic weight transfer system in like all of their hard baits. And like I said, at a good price. So this thing retails at $10 and I got it for $6.99, 30% off of the retail price. This is a new color pattern, which Kevin the Baitman Baxter would be all over purple and chartreuse. So awesome for muddy water and for night fishing. So kind of had to pick that guy up, especially at the price tag at $6.99 for a super high quality popper. I've already got a handful of those in my box. I'm not going to pull them all out for you, but I'll just mention I've got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of them, and had to get one more. Yeah, who doesn't love that color in the Rio Rico, guys? That transparent purplish color. I forget what they call it, but yeah, it's definitely one of the best colors. And you're absolutely right, Ron. How many Senko knockoffs are there? Just about as many as there are companies that make soft plastic baits, dude. So I would say that Matthew is correct. Probably over 100. Totally right. Matt says, I would love to see someone knock off the Tiny Clash, but make their own version of it, like a different profile, more shad-like. I think it could be a hot bait for sure. Surprised that DRT hasn't done that yet. That's a good point, man. And I also am a big fan of magnetic weight transfer systems, like the LBO in the Megabass baits. Allow for longer casting, no doubt about it. I'm sure that Ron Hawley loves that purple and chartreuse color. He's all about bright and flashy stuff. That Morning Dawn Rat, Ron will never live it down. So, guys, I didn't even show you the package before I just whipped this out, but this is, I believe, a new bait from Dual Hardcore as well. And this is a crankbait of theirs, square bill, in the SR65. So shallow running floating square bill crankbait, 65 millimeters, half an ounce. And this thing dives, I want to say 3 to 5 feet. Yeah, 1.5 meters. And let's see what she's about. I got this in this awesome Ghost Pearl Shad color. I've got a few of their baits in this color pattern. I might even have one on the table right now I could show you. I've got, 1 or 2 of their jerk baits in this color. This is a very versatile color that in sunlight will give off a fair amount of flash, but in cloudy conditions, which I can't simulate right now, is totally see-through. So I can see through this bait right now, but unfortunately with the light behind me, you guys can't see very well. You can see right there that ball is sitting down bottom. So it has the magnetic weight transfer system, but if you listen, this is a silent bait. Okay? Silent square bill crankbait. Little bit of a fat body, beautiful looking. And let's see if we can get this ball to move to the back. So it's jumping back to the front, but yeah. And there it's in the back. Can you see it down in the bottom? You'll be able to see how it rolls to the front, just along the bottom of the bait. So it's going to aid in casting distance, also make the bait a bit more stable, and it's a gorgeous paint job. So as I've talked about before, I don't venture out too much when it comes to square bill crankbaits. I really throw the Lucky Craft 1.5 and the Striking KBD 1.5 like 95% of the time. I rarely go outside of that, but there have been a couple that have caught my eye, and this was one of them. Just while I was shopping on Discount Tackle, again, really good deal. I think uh, all of Dual Hardcore's baits are 30% off. So I got that thing for $7.99, which, in my opinion, is a reasonably priced square bill crankbait. Perhaps a little bit mid priced, closer to like a 6 cent square bill. But with that magnetic weight transfer system and it being silent, decided to give it a try. Okay. I got 3 more baits in here, guys. I just mentioned that Dual Hardcore is part of the same family as Yozuri. And speaking of, I got 2 little baits from Yozuri. I mentioned these last night, and I'm very curious to see how these things fish. This is the Yozuri El Minnow S. I don't know exactly what that stands for. As you find on the Dual Hardcore baits, you get a lot of Japanese writing on the back. Take a look at these guys. Dual Hardcore is like all Japanese. Yozuri is like 50-50. Whole lot of Japanese. So L might be for lightweight and S is for sinking, but this is an ultralight crankbait slash jerkbait made by Yozuri that is meant to be fished for trout primarily, and that is my intention. This is a silent bait, no rattles in it. I like that. And this thing is 44 millimeters in length, so really little bait. If we compare it in size to that Megabass Great Hunting, this thing is even smaller. Okay, so it is a rather tiny little bait. It's bigger than the Snap Bean made by Yozuri, which is a single hook ultralight square bill, kind of like the Strike King Bitsy minnow that's made more for panfish. But this guy has 2 hooks, and for a 44 millimeter bait, so 1 3/4 of an inch, this thing still weighs 3/16 of an ounce. So it should be very castable, and it is a sinking bait. So I'm going to throw this in rivers and streams that have current and fish for rainbow and brown trout. So this is a flashy color pattern that they call might not be on the package, but it is on Discount Tackle. What do they call it? So they just call this one Rainbow Trout. You know, it's got that green back, that shiny silvery side. And then this one is called Natural Rainbow Trout. Okay? So no flash on this guy. Green back, and it's got that spotting on the side. So I like it. Kind of reminds me of some of the Rapala ultralight jerkbaits. But I'm curious to try this out, and I will let you guys know to what degree of success I have with it. You know, as I've mentioned recently, The dual hardcore flat minnow comes in this 70 size. The Lucky Craft pointer comes in the 65. The Great Hunting comes in a 46 and this 51. And those are all baits that I plan to get a lot more use out of this upcoming season, because this is my go-to ultralight and trout fishing jerkbait, crankbait box, and I've been using these baits a lot over the last handful of years. And in terms of jerkbaits, there have been, a half a dozen or so that I've thrown more than the rest. But by a long shot, my favorite one has been none other than, well, you guys might not be familiar with it, but pretty sure Will Perriman is, because I think I might have sent him a couple of these. But this is the Dynamic Lures HD Trout. And this is local to Colorado. These guys are made here. And this is just a little over 2 inches in length and weighs like a tenth of an ounce. So this is a lightweight bait, but is super, super effective on trout. Has a high-pitched rattle and a very good swimming action to it. I've got it in like 10 different colors and have just a super high degree of confidence in it. Now, that said, I also throw the Yozuri Pins Minnow, which is a floating jerkbait. So I will throw this in still water. Same with the Rapala X Wrap in their smaller sizes. I think this is the size 6. But when it comes to sinking baits, I didn't have a lot. I've got floaters, I've got suspenders. I throw the Husky Jerk from Rapala. I throw the floating minnow from Rapala. But when it comes to sinking baits, I do throw the Rapala Countdown and the Rebel Countdown minnow, in addition to that HD Trout from Dynamic Lures. But wanted to add some of these other ones to my arsenal, like the Great Hunting from Megabass and this new one from Yozuri, to see kind of how it performs and compares. So S is for not noisy. Oh, Ron. S is definitely for silent, guys. Lucky Craft Craw Plea. That thing is microscopic. Crazy how small it is. Definitely a trout magnet for sure. Got a couple and they work amazing for trout. Come with barbless hooks, which I like for sure, man. The Duo Rosante 63, I've heard a lot about that bait, and you're right. I should make a point to throw that on my wish list on Tackle Warehouse. Maybe get 1 or 2 of them during Black Friday, because those are relatively expensive baits as well. But I've heard great things about that bait. No problem, Will. I was not trying to get a thank you or a shout out. I just believe in those baits so much and have had a tremendous amount of success on them for a handful of years now. And it is arguably one of the most popular baits here in Colorado. If you're throwing lures for trout, of course, there are more fly fishermen than there are lure fishermen, and that includes myself. I do throw flies more frequently than I throw lures, but will throw lures when I need to, or when I'm at a larger lake with still water and I know where fish are holding and they're not busting on top and they won't chase flies that I'm stripping. So Anyway, last lure in the unboxing. We're an hour and 5 minutes in. I've taken my sweet ass time, and I kind of apologize for that. But last but not least, and new in stock at Discount Tackle, new this year from iCast, is the Evergreen Shower Blows 77.7. Okay, guys, I talked about this bait a few weeks back when I went out of my way to buy it elsewhere. Told you guys that it would only be a matter of time till this bait came in stock at Discount Tackle. And I'm pretty sure it's in stock in like all color patterns right now, and it is on sale. So I want to say $14. No, $12.79, guys. If you don't go hop on and buy one or two of these, I don't know what your problem is. Use my link. Okay. I'm going to paste it in here one more time right now. Click that link, copy paste it into your browser, and go pick up one or two of the Evergreen Shower Blow 77.7. This is a wicked topwater walking bait that doubles as kind of a popper. This thing will walk in place. Has the same action as its bigger brothers in the Shower Blows 105, the Shower Blows 125, the Shower Blows 150. And, I have only had limited experience with this bait so far, but I'm very impressed. Absolutely like what I've seen so far. And so for its size, this is really the same size as like a big popper. And yet it has the action of a walking bait, will walk effortlessly, has that loud knock in it. It's tail weighted, so it will sit ass down, and it will just walk side to side if you want it to walk in place. This is an awesome, awesome little bait. Definitely worth full price, but when you can find it for 20% off, $12.77, kind of got to. So I already have this in two colors. Had it in the bone and like the skeleton chartreuse color. So this is a color called black bone, which does have a black belly and black back with kind of like a skeleton chromish type of side, and like that. So I'll be fishing this in lower light conditions, and perhaps at night as well. So very excited for this month's unboxing from Discount Tackle. Hope you guys found it enjoyable, entertaining. I feel like I got a lot for my money. If we can go through that again, I got 3 packs of soft plastics, 2 packs of the Helicross, 1 pack of the 3-inch Chigger Cross. I got 2 dual hardcore baits, 1 in their square bill crankbait, 1 in their popper. I got 2 Yozuri sinking ultralight jerkbait, crankbait lures, both in trout patterns. I got the Evergreen Shower Blows 77.7. I got the Z-Man Football Ned Heads. And I got 3 of the new Evergreen Grass Ripper swim jigs. So, guys, $80 went a long way for me this month, and I'm pretty excited about everything there. As I mentioned last night, I do have an order from Tackle Warehouse that is just about in. It was supposed to arrive today and did not, but I bought a couple things for the Labor Day sale, and we'll be opening that for you guys ASAP. Ron says, "Can I use your account on account of I can't afford it?" um, no, man. I already used my allowance for the month, dude. I don't have money just sitting on. I don't have a tab running. I still got to place my order. A portion of this order was out of pocket, as is the case every single month. I go out of my way to spend money at Discount Tackle, as was the case before I started working with them. But I still do, you know. So while I get a little bit of an allowance and can get a discount on higher ticket items, um, yeah, no, I sorry, bro, can't help you out there. But I would highly recommend that you go take advantage of some of these deals. Dual Hardcore, Evergreen, Yozuri, Z-Man, all of these products that I got today were discounted, including, I forgot to mention, the Berkeley Bullet Pop in the 70s. So, guys, I don't even know how much money I probably saved on this order, but I would venture to say probably 20 bucks. Okay. So, what else you guys want to talk about? I've been on for an hour and 11 minutes, and I'm happy to talk about anything else that you guys want to right now. There's 5 people in here, 8 thumbs up. Appreciate you guys very much. Ron says, I just got 11 Spro Bronze Eye 65s. Jeez, dude, take it easy. Why are you buying so many of them? That's outrageous. I don't know why you need to do that. The Bronze Eye 65 is an awesome bait for sure. Definitely a go-to frog. Did you get it in the standard size, or did you get it, or the standard version, or did you get it in the popping version? Kind of hope you got it in this killer gill color, dude. One of my favorites. I actually surprisingly like the Bronze Eye in the 60 size a little bit more than I like the 65. Um, just slightly smaller profile. Still got a big hook on there. But 11 Bronze Eyes, dude. Shoo! You're frogged out. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I am too, right? As I told you guys, I need to get a second box for my frogs. Really, what I'm going to probably do is unload about a quarter of this box to clear room for, all the frogs that I've purchased in the last couple of months that are not in that box, ranging from Jackal Gavachos, Jackal Caras, Evergreen soft shells, and the Boom Boom frogs. I've probably got like 15 of them here that are not in my frog box, are probably my favorite frogs, period. So need to make way and room for them in the box. And good for you, Ron. The killer gill color is sick. Love it. It imitates both a bluegill and a shad very well. And gotta love it. Figure one of the 11 has to catch a bass. That's fair. Justin, thank you for asking, man. The thumb is doing a hell of a lot better. In fact, I don't know if you'd even be able to notice the damage on there anymore, dude. This is relatively in focus, and you can't even see it. It is healed. Um, if I press on it, it's still a little bit tender. Like it got twisted around inside, to the point where I don't know if everything is where it's supposed to be inside my thumb, but I can still operate like normal. I very rarely am I actually pressing on the area where that hook was in and getting moved around and shifting the inner contents of my thumb for a couple of hours. But that was brutal, man. Not only did I try to rip it out when I was out on the water before I bailed and came home, but then I came home and my wife tried the braid trick, sucked at it, it hurt like hell, and then we decided to bail and try and push it through. Um, so instead of pull it out, we tried to push it through. We shoved that in and up, and tried that probably 4 or 5 times. Didn't work. So that thing was that much further inside my thumb at that point. And then when I went to the ER, that lady who was trying to use wire cutters did a horrible job and just mangled my thumb. She just managed to twist that hook in both directions, and it started just literally twisting inside my finger. Caused me an extraordinary amount of pain. And yeah, dude, until they numbed it and that doctor just took care of business, I instructed uh, the other nurse that was there to hold it down so that it would slide out easier. And so the two of them were able to just quickly take care of business after my thumb was numb and I couldn't feel the pain anymore. And boom, it came out no problem. It really wasn't bleeding much. It did kind of ooze for a couple days after that. I was worried about it becoming infected, but it did not. Um, as I told you guys, I got a tetanus shot. All's good. They didn't put me on antibiotics or anything like that, but the wound healed up within a couple days, and I haven't had any issues. I've gotten bass thumb a handful of times since that. You know, I went night fishing this past week twice, and caught probably 40 or 50 fish um, combined. Like 25 one time, and then probably 20 the next time, and caught a handful of other fish throughout the week. So I'm using my hands, using my thumb, no big deal. So it's in the past, but appreciate you asking, man. Matt says my damn nail is still split and got a hole on the bottom and black. The skin is healed pretty decent, but the nail, eh. Yeah, man, that looked gnarly. I've had that happen to me once or twice. Slamming my finger in a car door or elsewhere, and having the nail go black like that. That's brutal. It takes forever to heal. Sorry to hear that, dude. That light chartreuse is really nice. What you talking about, bro? You talking about the frog? That Spro bronze eye that I showed you, or are you talking about this evergreen? Because this one, whew, absolutely sexy. This is skeleton chartreuse in the shower blows frog. I mean, how nasty is that? I don't know if these frogs are in stock on Discount Tackle any longer, but if they're not, and you guys are interested in getting your hands on some of them, I can definitely contact my guys over there and make sure that they go out of their way to get these back in stock. So awesome frog. I had a 10-pound sledgehammer strike my foot the other morning when I was splitting wood. What? Justin, that is brutal. Glad it wasn't the axe. Yeah, no doubt about it. Uh, that sounds horrible, man. Sledgehammer on the foot. Yikes. You didn't break anything though, huh? You said it just swelled up? I mean, that's kind of nice. Nice. I shouldn't say it's nice, but lucky that you didn't break anything, man. What else you guys want to talk about? I'm going to stay on here for 10 more minutes. Call it an hour and a half, and I'm gonna dip out of here. Tomorrow is football Sunday, guys. Week 1. If you guys didn't watch on Thursday night, that opener between the Cowboys and the Bucks was pretty sweet. Good game. Of course, Tom Brady and the Bucks ended up winning in the final seconds of the game. Very close game, though. Um, they only beat them by 2. It's like the Cowboys scored with a minute and a half left to go and had the lead. Everyone thought that they were going to win, but Tom Brady just always finds a way. Yeah, Justin is a diehard Seahawks fan. I am a diehard Broncos fan. I'm going to be dressing up my 2 daughters and my son, dressing up myself. We're going to the farmer's market tomorrow morning, repping Broncos hardcore. And we've got an easy matchup, knock on wood, against the Giants in New York tomorrow. So feeling pretty good about the opener to the season. And dude, why were you surprised that Brady didn't retire last season? He was talking last year about playing for another 5+ years. I mean, sure, he's old as hell, but his performance is not going downhill at all. The guy still has it, and he knows what he needs in order to keep that going. So he's got his regimen down to a T when it comes to working out and nutrition, and he's able to tell the coaching staff and ownership exactly what he needs. I mean, he has more say than a head coach does in terms of how the football team is run and how they manage games. And he knows exactly what he's doing, dude. I would not be surprised if he goes for another 3-4 years. Um, that said, he's got what, 9? How many rings does he have at this point? I mean, that sounds outrageous for me saying that. What does he have? No. He's won 6, but he's played in 9. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they won this year and he went out on back to back. But then again, I don't think a three-peat has ever happened. Um, but he could go out the way that John Elway did um, here in Denver, like a freaking hero after winning back to back. Everyone was wanting that three-peat back in 2000. But Elway went out on a high note, and I don't blame him. One for each finger. Yeah, I doubt he's going to get to 10 championships. I'll tell you that much. Ron says Niners. Justin says 40 whiners. That's hilarious. I only like the Niners because of Kyle Shanahan. Mike Shanahan is a legend here in Denver, and I love that his system is still intact and working well in the NFL today, 20 years later. I mean, I guess I could say 10 years later. He hasn't been out of the league that long, but Kyle Shanahan's doing a great job. Matt says, not sure if you saw earlier message, but I sent an elude stiletto walking bait on hold for my guy in a rainbow trout color, hand carved, custom paint job, walking bait. Definitely going to send you a pic. I don't think I saw that. No. But I'd be happy to look at it, man. Shut up, Justin. Elway played for the Broncos, homie, for about 17 years. Absolute legend in Denver. Pretty much owns the town here. I mean, he should not be the general manager of the Broncos these days. He has made a lot of mistakes in the last 5+ years, and I don't know. People in Denver still hold him in high esteem by a long shot. He used to belong to the same athletic club that I did when I was a kid, and I managed to have him sign one of my football cards. We had him sign a couple footballs, and yeah, I was obsessed with the guy for a number of years, especially in '99 and 2000 when we won the Super Bowls back to back. It's like when I was in third and fourth grade. Fair enough, Ron. Talk that smack right back, dude. I'll compare our 5 rings to your one. Bang, bang. My man. Rams were killing it last season. Um, yeah, no, the Rams are good, man. It'll be interesting to see how they do this year with Matt Stafford, dude. Um, I've got Cooper Cup on one of my fantasy football teams, the one that is high stakes for me. I'm in a 16 team, $350 buy-in fantasy football league. So the winner every year wins somewhere between 2,500 and $3,000. And yeah, I won the championship like 3 years ago, and have gotten second twice since then. And yeah, it's big money. So Cooper Cup is my wide receiver 2/3 in that league. Very deep league, but we've got it's dynasty and unlimited keepers. We do an auction draft. It's pretty insane, and yeah, I'm pretty confident in my team this year. So sorry that we just went way off of fishing and are talking about football and fantasy football right now, guys. There's still 8 people in here right now. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday night. I am really looking forward to football tomorrow. We'll be making my kids watch some football with me, and I'm definitely going to put them down for a little bit extra long of a nap time. Probably put them down early. We'll have an early lunch after the farmers market. I'll put them down for nap time early, and try to watch the tail end of the first games, and then make sure that I am on time and ready for the Broncos kickoff at 2:25 Mountain Standard Time. And I'll let my kids wake up a little bit early to watch as much of the Broncos game as they want to or can. Yeah, it will be interesting. DK Metcalf definitely has high expectations, or I guess everybody has high expectations for him this year, given how he performed last year. The dude is a freak athlete, no doubt about it, and he and Tyler Lockett are really the key guys to get peppered by Russell Wilson. So it'll be interesting, but I'm sure he'll do well, man. Ron says it's all about hockey anyway. Yeah, go Avalanche, man. We definitely should have won the championship last year. Disappointing that we went out the way we did, but I guess it was to the Stanley Cup champs, so not that disappointing. Just hate to see Tampa Bay win back to back like that. It almost feels like a sign that the Bucks are going to do it too. I thought the Broncos were, or Denver was, a powerhouse sports town way back in the day. Um, in the late '90s, like seriously, at the turn of the century, we were winning championships. Um, between the Broncos and the Avalanche, we were just so dominant that that it was almost too fun. Of course, at that time, the Nuggets sucked at basketball and have since been pretty good as of late. Um, and the Colorado Rockies have kind of always been mediocre. We did go to the World Series that one year in 2007, and I did have an opportunity to go to that, which was pretty sweet, even though it was game 4 of us getting swept by the Red Sox. So, what can you do? Flyers. Okay, whatever, guys. Patrick Maroon. Talking about Patrick Waugh? No. All right, guys. Well, here we are at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. Fun kind of getting off topic talking about sports for a couple minutes. Um, but I'm going to dip out of here, guys. Coming up on 11 o'clock my time. I have made an absolute freaking mess of my bait room. I don't even want to show you, but take a little peek um, at my desk. I mean, absolutely just a mess. I used to have this desk totally clear, um, like nothing on it, and now it is completely covered. So, Abe, Matt, Justin, Ron, Justin, Justin, Riley, anybody else who is watching right now, really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. It's been fun. Uh, if you didn't already enter the giveaway from last night or on Instagram, feel free to go ahead and do that because I am giving away these baits starting tomorrow night. And I would not be mad if any one of you guys won them. In fact, I would be very happy. So have a great rest of your night, guys. Have a good Sunday tomorrow, and I will see you again very soon. We'll unbox that Tackle Warehouse package next time. Okay, peace, guys.